Now it's time for our main guest. You may know from The Wilds or Tiny Beautiful Things or the upcoming Broadway play Stereophonic. Please, a warm welcome to Sarah Pidgeon. I'm so excited you're here.
Great. Yeah, this is my first sit-down interview that's live. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, I'm honored. I'm your first because I know you're going to do many more. So when I'm calling you up for a job, it's going to be. Remember when I did your first interview?
Oh, well, this is a bright moment in the history of my life, I hope.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Well, let's see how the interview goes, then we'll decide afterwards.
True.
So I want to start with The Wilds, which that came out in the height of COVID. It's on Amazon. It was just really bingeable, it's like, basically it's a group of girls on desert island, and it's like Lord of the Flies meets Lost. It's really, and there's a big twist. I'm not going to say what the twist is in case you want to watch it. And it was your first major gig, and you filmed on location in New Zealand with a cast of young girls your age, which was sort of meta, kind of, in the show. What was it like filming on location, and what ended up being the most challenging thing about it? Was that what you expected it to be?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of this dream, I think. You have to do so much less acting when you're actually in the environment that, like Madam Web, they're constantly talking about the blue screen right now. And that was totally opposite of my experience there. But it was certainly challenging as well. You're cold all the time. There's sand everywhere.
Right. And you were in the water and doing all that swimming.
Yeah. I actually had to learn how to hold my breath, and I think I made it to 3.5 minutes, which is really it's pretty impressive. But yeah, it was.
I think it's really impressive.
Yeah, I think Kate Winslet recently learned how to do that, but she's at
Kate Winslet.
6 minutes or something like that. No, I don't think I beat her.
Okay. We can dream one day.
Yeah, we'll see. I have to keep training. But it was also, I think, it's a emotionally an intense show, and I think being physically exhausted was really hard. But we were on this beach that had no cell service, so I think it sort of made us pretty zen, and we were able to connect with one another.
Well, speaking of that, this cast was so amazing. It's this dynamic cast of all women around your age, and people fell in love with your character Leah. But and each character has their own backstory, and it's really rich with all this material, especially the queer storyline, which you guys. Joni, yeah, you got nominated for the award. That was
yeah, we did. It was it was honored.
That's awesome. What was it like working with this cast of all 20-somethings, all women your own age? As a 30-year-old, I would be scared to be just with a bunch of 20-somethings on a beach, but what was it like for you?
Yeah, I think I sort of, you have this idea that when you're with girls for some reason that there's going to be drama, and I think ever since having that experience, it just totally turned that on its head. With my mic? Oh, is this better?
Way better, yay.
Sorry.
Executive producer Margie McCurry, everyone! And that's producing!
It wasn't catty at all. Right. You don't have that same, I think, opinion of a group of boys getting together. But
so annoying.
Yeah, it was just we really bonded. I'm so close with so many of them. Right. And yeah, we just formed this tight-knit group of girls.
Yeah, what a brilliant thing to have so early on in your career, to kind of have that intensity of this show, but now have this group of people that you will be attached to throughout your career.
Yeah, I think it was all of our first jobs in a big way. So it was, I think, this sort of defining moment.
Right. And speaking of that, so, it was your first big break, and I'm still waiting on mine. But what did it feel like for you? Because I had imagined that when it happens, hopefully, it would be a mixed emotion. So excited, but also a little bit of imposter syndrome, because there are so many people that want to do what you want to do. So what did it feel like for you to, wow, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm an actress, and I'm going to be in a major show?
Yeah, I think with every job, oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait, never being a teenage girl in normal-ass America, that was the real living hell. That's dead on, right? Yeah, true.
I think with every job you feel a bit of imposter syndrome, and everyone's gonna find out you're a fraud. And I definitely felt that with my first job. I've been training for this and I'm trying to do this, but it's not gonna work out. Right. But I think I was also so eager to do it. We were constantly in the water and so cold and doing all these crazy stunts, but no one else would do that except if you were a 20-year-old on your first job. So yeah, we were all really eager.
Jump off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after The Wilds came Tiny Beautiful Things, which was produced, yes, it's on Hulu. And it was produced by Reese Witherspoon, and you star alongside Kathryn Hahn and Meredith Weaver. What I was talking to you about this, what I was so impressed by, this dynamic group of women who ran and starred in this show. What was it like being a young actress on the set of of mostly women in charge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was true for the Wilds and for Tiny Beautiful Things. It just set this, like, my normal is expecting tons of, like, women everywhere you look, left, right, and center. And I think, that was true for Tiny Beautiful Things as well. And I just, while we were in school, obviously there was a lot of media attention on what it's like to be a woman in the industry. And I looking at all these women, just thinking about how much shit they had to go through to make this my normal. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for them. And my normal is to be, space is held for me, and I'm listened to, and I'm understood, and I'm advocated for. So I'm incredibly grateful for that.
That is so good. You basically answered my next question was like, is this your new normal? Which it is, which is so hopeful to hear in an industry that, we all hear horror stories from, that like, you're not suffering the same way that Joan Crawford did 60 years ago, that Sharon Stone did 30 years. It has evolved in a way.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope it keeps getting better.
Oh, I'm sure it will. What was it like playing a younger version of a character? So she plays the younger version of Kathryn Hahn. Like, did you feel nervous? Like, you don't want to impersonate her, but you really want to honor her, and you want to be like, this is believable that you grow up into her. So what was that like? Well,
I've admired her for so long.
Amazing.
She's just someone I really look up to. Right. She has a movie, Private Life, that will like tear your heart out. It's so beautiful. But she's someone that I've tried to emulate and looked up to. So I think when I first got the audition, I actually filmed it with my friend Eleanor, who's here tonight. But I really wanted it because she's just someone I look up to so much, and I feel like I'm holding this too close, and that's what makes it echoey.
No, I think you're doing a great job.
But yeah, I didn't want to impersonate her, but we sort of found this. We were in workshops with Merritt and Kathryn and Canson Crawford, who plays the daughter, and we sort of found this like physical family vocabulary, and I think what we focused on was finding where the grief comes from and how's the grief, because the story is about losing your mother and mothering and mother-daughter relationships, but finding out like where that sits in your body. So I think when that was the same, it was able to sort of come out of us in an authentic way that wasn't an imitation, but also left room to grow for this person whose life you see from 18 to close to 50.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Okay, and now what I love, so you've done TV, and now you're moving into theater. And not just any theater, Broadway, the Great White Way. You are going to star in the new play Stereophonic, which opens in April, and I've only heard like incredible things about it. The music's by Arcade Fire's Will Butler. So it's a play about a band in the 1970s, and it takes place all in the music studio, which I'm so excited to see. But you sing live.
Yeah.
So it's a play, but you're singing.
It's a playical.
A playical. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I didn't make that up. I stole that from a review.
Have you what was the audition process like to now adding singing to it? Was it harder? Did you have to think it was a different mindset for you? Was it you approach it the same way, like I'm just auditioning for a role?
Yeah, I mean, I think singing's like very vulnerable. I think whether you're in a play or not, it's just like that's what you do in your car or your shower and not around other people. But I think it was, I guess, a similar approach in our show. It's not like with musicals when you can't act, when words aren't enough, you sing. When singing's not enough, you dance. Yeah. And that's not really our show.
You can't just break out the dance.
No, it's like very much still in the world.
Right.
So I think it sort of is a similar approach of acting because it's we're trying to record the song, so her goal, her end game is to make the best recording of the best version of the song that she can in the studio.
And I can only imagine the rehearsal process for a play. Like, has it been, compared to your past work, how does it compare? But also, like, how are you gearing up for the 8 shows a week, 7 shows a week?
I think we, at Off Broadway we did 8 shows a week for a section of the run, and now we're doing 7 shows a week. Okay. I think. I have to check.
If you missed one, it's okay.
Yeah, it was an intense process. It was a lot of rehearsals. We had 7 weeks of rehearsals, which doesn't happen very often. But there was a lot to do. It's a long show, and there's obviously the musical element of it. But I think right now I'm just most nervous to get sick.
Because what happened? Like, I mean, usually when people are sick from work, they just email like, "Hey, I'll work from home."
Yeah,
you can't
Zoom.
do that. Yeah, you can't zoom in.
You can't zoom in.
You can't. Oh,
No.
you learn something. You can't zoom in on Broadway, guys.
No, maybe. Someone has to make that show though.
1970s.
Yeah, can you imagine? But I think we have some buffers, but it's just, it would just be such a shitty thing to like lose your voice and just have to wait it out.
Oh my God, yeah. Is there a piece of advice that you're taking with you as you kind of move into this new phase of your career, this very vulnerable phase, live theater? Like I always say, I thought I knew acting, but then when I saw Jessica Lange in Long Day's Journey into Night, I was like,
You're such a fan.
Such a fan, let's be honest. I would do whatever she wanted me. But like that was, I said this to her on the street, I said this was the most inspiring thing I've ever seen. It was so raw, and so you can't fake that. Like
she's in a play on Broadway.
I know, I'm excited, I want to see it. Is there a piece of advice you're taking with you to kind of keep you going in this process?
I guess this applies more to film and TV, but if you want another take, ask for another take. And I guess in a rehearsal process for theater, it's just like ask for what you need. Asking for what you need isn't being difficult.
Right. Well, I love that.